This is a pre-built version of the application. So let's go ahead and run it. And we can pick up data from one of three places. So if we pick it up from File, and here we have three options, and we can add or remove files as needed here. So we'll pick up the Australian states and the domains. We can have one of three options, either three colors, 4 or 5, and we can add or remove options here. So let's go for 3 colors. And those are the states and their neighboring states. So the variables and their neighboring variables. So this state doesn't have any neighbors. And let's show the constraints that we derived. So those are the constraints. This state must be assigned a different color from all those states, and this one, same thing, this one, and this one. And the implicit constraints is that adjacent regions must have different colors. So the variables are regions and the values are colors. And the domain or the values that are allowed are those three colors. And the solution will have a list of region equal color assignments satisfying all constraints. And we will be using the backtracking search, so depth first search, and we consider assignment to a single variable at each step, and we consider only values which do not conflict with previous assignments. So let's go ahead and do the backtracking search. So this is the solution that we found. This state will have this color, and none of its neighbor will have the same color. And this one, this color, same thing, none of its neighbors will have the same color, and same for the rest. And let's pick up the data from the database, but before doing that, let's go ahead and create that database. So this is how we create the database. We're creating for each area, so Australian states, we create it, and the region and its neighbors. Same for US states and Schengen area states. So let's go ahead and run this one. And this is the database that we just created. So let's go ahead and select data coming from the database, and go for Schengen area states or countries, and let's use 4 colors. Actually, let's try with 3 colors and see what will happen. And this is display the same thing. So display the variables. So we have those states or those countries and their neighboring countries, and let's display the constraints that we derived. So we have all those constraints, and this is the information. So we have those three colors that we will try to use, and let's do backtracking search. So no assignment solution found. So let's go ahead and try with 4 colors. So same thing, database and Schengen area, and we'll use 4 colors and do the backtracking search. So we found a solution. So this country has this color, and none of its neighbors will have the same color. Same for this one. None of its neighbors will have the same color. And we can pick up hard-coded data. Same thing, I have it in this class in data. So this is the Australian state, this is Schengen area states, and this is the US states. If we're gonna pick hard-coded data. And we'll go for US states and use 5 colors. And do a backtracking search. So here we go. So this state has this color, and none of its neighboring state will have the same color. Same for this one, etc. Now this class contains variable data, so regions and their neighboring regions. For example, here we have this region and its neighboring regions, or this state and its neighboring states. And this class prompts the user for a file, table, or hard-coded data source, and it also prompts the user for domain and variables selection, and it picks up and returns a map containing variable or regions and their neighboring regions. And this class represents a variable, so a region in this case, and it keeps track of a list of neighboring regions, and also it keeps track of a list of constraints associated with this region. And this class represents a constraint between 2 regions. So 2 neighboring regions must have different values or colors, and it contains logic to make sure that this constraint is satisfied. And this class has display logic functionality. So it displays the solution, the derived list of constraints, and the initial information and the variables. And this class contains constraint satisfaction problem, map coloring logic, and it keeps track of the lists of regions and the values, the domain values or the colors to be used, and it checks if the domain values assignments are compatible with the constraints associated with all variables. And it uses the recursive backtracking search algorithm for domain values assignments. And this function, actually it indicates what it does. So it finds constraint satisfaction problem assignment solution. And this function prompts for data source options, either from file, database, or hard-coded, and it picks up variable and domain data and finds CSP assignment solution. So we call it from here. Now the source code will be available for download. Also a members-only version, including step-by-step coding, will be available for viewing by channel members at the senior software engineer level and above.